All right, welcome everybody to a live episode of Mike's Money Picks. Today on the podcast, we have got a special episode. It is Selection Sunday, so the bracket has just been revealed. Well, I guess 3 hours ago revealed, if you can say just been revealed for that. So what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about the bracket itself, what the committee got right, what the committee got wrong, looking at some games, looking at some upsets, Final Four, Sweet 16, National Championship, whatever you guys want to talk about, right? And then also we're going to be doing, while that's going on, we're going to be doing some live college basketball best ball drafts. We have been hyping up, as the weeks have gone on, these college basketball best ball drafts on Underdog. I personally really enjoy them. I think it's a great contest, and I cannot recommend it enough for you guys. If you do not have an Underdog account already, make sure you sign up with my referral code. It is in the description, and it'll get you a deposit match. So basically, however many drafts you were planning on doing on Underdog, double it when you get that deposit match. And so we're going to be doing those best ball drafts, talking about the strategy for that as well. We've already done one video where we talk about these, the strategy of these best ball drafts. We've already done one live stream where we did 2 live best ball drafts. Both of them, we got the 5th pick. So hopefully for some, we'll get some different pick luck here tonight. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be ripping these drafts, but the conversation is just going to go wherever you guys take it. Whatever game you want to talk about, whatever team you want to talk about, that's what we're here for. But let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and join the Underdog draft. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. There we go. So if you guys want to draft against me, go for it. I would have no problem drafting against you guys here on the stream. Obviously, no collusion or nothing. Don't draft to lose. But, if you guys want to join the draft, go for it. Hold on. There we go. Now it's on the screen. So I am in a session now. We got 3 of 6 filled. But yeah, with it being Selection Sunday, I was so shocked when this bracket came out. Basically, I was in the car. I was driving. Me and my wife were picking up furniture to, get for our new baby boy that's coming soon, and in his new room. And so I was driving. I was listening to the selection show while I was driving the car. When I heard them say UNC for that 11 seed, oh my gosh, I was so shocked. I could not believe that UNC got a berth into this tournament. I thought that it meant doom, instant doom for my Texas Longhorns. I thought that once UNC got in, there was no way Texas was going to be getting in. And then sure enough, Texas does end up getting in. Very thankful for that. Y'all know, if you've been around the show for a while, big Texas Longhorns fan, always repping them on the show when I can. And, they're going to be playing in the first 4 in Dayton against Xavier. And I've actually already got tickets. I live in North Carolina, so Dayton's about a 6-hour drive up. So very much looking forward to going to that game, representing Texas, because Xavier, with it being an hour from Dayton, that's probably going to be a pretty pro-Xavier crowd. So we're going to need some people out there being loud and proud Texas fans to cheer that team on and hopefully cheer them on to victory. And honestly, if Texas can get past Xavier, I love the draw for them. I think Illinois is a very hot or cold team. And if you happen to catch them on the right night, you can be really, really in good shape against them. And then Kentucky, another team that can be really hot or really cold that Texas has already beaten and will be playing without Jackson Robinson for the NCAA tournament. So I love the draw for my Texas Longhorns. And I'm really hoping that on Wednesday night in Dayton, they're going to be able to pull out the game against Xavier so they can get that draw in the bracket, have everything come to fruition. Now, let's talk about the task at hand. So we have got the draft just filled, right? But now that we've got the bracket, we can very much, dang it, I got 6th pick. Golly, I haven't got the 1st or 2nd pick yet in one of these drafts. So I'm looking at a portfolio right now that doesn't have any Cooper Flagg or Janai Broome in it. That's not where I want to be. I think there's a big time advantage to having the 1st pick in these drafts. So now that I'm looking at 6, right? We've mentioned my lack of affinity for Houston before. I still hold that opinion, and I don't like the draw at all for Houston. I think that Gonzaga is a super dangerous 8 seed. I think that you look at the bottom half of that bracket, Tennessee and Houston would be like the Spider-Man meme if they were to end up playing in the NCAA tournament. So I think that this is just a really bad bracket for Houston, and I do not have the affinity for them. So I'm not going to be looking to stack the Houston guys here at this 6th pick. So we'll see who falls to me, but I'm not going to be looking to build a Houston stack. The one thing that I do want to point out now that we have a bracket, though, it's going to be much more easier to optimally build your team. And what I mean by that is you're not going to want to pick more than one team from a particular region when you are doing these drafts. And so that's going to be something to mind as we're building stacks, because I do think that building stacks is the way, whether it's 3-3-2-2, 4-4-3, whatever you want to talk about, or however you want to stack it. I do think that stacking is the way. But I'm not going to be looking to stack teams that are in the same region. That's kind of the big takeaway there. Yeah, Darren, I see in the chat, we had 5 twice in a row last week. So hopefully we don't get 6 again, because I do want to do 2 drafts here on the stream tonight. I don't want to get 6 twice. That would be quite miserable. So far, the draft's kind of going as expected. Oh, I see Joel's in the draft. Joel is a member of the Fantasy Corner Discord. What up, Joel, if you're watching this? Basically, if you have not already, if you play college basketball DFS, you need to join the Fantasy Corner Discord. Fantasy Corner Discord is a place where a lot of people who play DFS for a lot of different sports come together, talk strategy, talk plays. And college basketball, the chat in there has been jumping recently. I cannot recommend it enough. Okay, so Toppin and Cryer have gone. JT Toppin, longtime favorite of the Fantasy Corner Discord, so I'm not shocked to see Joel go that route. I'm going to go ahead and build 2 different stacks here. I'm going to take 1 Mark Sears from Alabama and 1 Alex Condon from Florida. I'm going to hold off on Grant Nelson because Grant Nelson might be injured right now. We don't really know the full status of him. So what that allows me to do is I do think that I'm going to be able to scoop up another one of these Florida wings on the way back, whether it is Elijah Martin or Will Richard. And then I do think that I'm going to be able to pick up one of the Alabama guys on the way back as well, whether it be Big Cliff, LeBaron Philon, Mo Diabate could be in for a huge role in the NCAA tournament if Grant Nelson is out. So I kind of like the strategy of getting the Florida and the Bama guys right away right there. Yeah, now as the draft is going, we see that David right here, he's got himself a nice little Houston stack. Look, if you're a believer in Houston, we talked about this on the last show when I had the 5th pick. If you're a believer in Houston and you want to stack them up, they're really easy to stack in that 1-2 turn. You can just go ahead and get, Roberts and Uzan or Cryer. They're really easy to stack up that way. But you're going to need your team to make it far in this bracket. So I don't want to end up with too many Houston stacks. Yeah, I see Darren in the chat. Definitely Philon's a guy I'm going to be looking at to get later. And Joel, I do see you watching, my man. I do like how you started this draft with Toppin and Ziegler. There's going to be 2 guys that not only should they advance very far in this tournament, but they're also going to get you a lot of fantasy points along the way. I see old Scoops Cody here. I wonder if that's a reference to the Dan Le Batard show. I don't know if any of you guys follow the Dan Le Batard show. It's one of my favorites. He went with a supremely outside the box strategy. He is taking LeBaron Philon and Amari Williams well ahead of ADP. Look, if those are your guys, go for it. I'm kind of upset that he took Philon away from me. That's super early to take Philon, but hey, it is what it is. If he wanted Philon, he's got Philon. Meanwhile, this guy Jace Ward, he's got his full-on Duke stack. And look, y'all, I've kind of been campaigning against this in the best ball chats. Like, you don't want to just stack all of the guys blindly on a team like Auburn or Duke, because those 5th and 6th players on Auburn and Duke, they're not going to give you counting scores in round 1 and round 2. Yeah, it might give you more equity in the finals if that does end up being the final, or they end up being one of the final teams. But I don't think that it's necessarily the pathway to getting a team that's going to advance out of the bracket. Okay, so now here's one thing I got to consider. I've got an Alabama stack. I've got a Florida stack. So if I've got Alabama, I don't want to pick anybody from Wisconsin or Duke. That won't be a problem. And since I've got Florida, I don't want to pick anybody from St. John's or Texas Tech or Maryland. So that makes the decision matrix kind of easy right here. I can go ahead and grab Elijah Martin, right? And now I can look at what's available to me. And this is where it gets pretty tough, because a lot of these guys are on teams that we just mentioned, right? So, dilemma here. You know what? I'll go ahead and take Grant Nelson. This could be a dead pick, but Maybe not. And if it's not a dead pick, then I got a ton of value. And we'll hope that works out. We'll see how that goes. So here's the situation I do find myself in now, though. I need some bigs because, you do want to have one guard, one wing, one big from each team that you end up stacking, right? So I do have Ruben, Chinyelu, and Cliff waiting in the queue. Is there another team who I can get a big from somewhere in between? Well, if I do have Florida, I don't want Maryland. I don't want St. John's. I don't want Kansas. Where's Purdue at in the bracket? Purdue's in Houston's bracket with Tennessee. So I could do a Purdue big. I could get TKR. And I actually kind of like the idea of TKR because their first round opponent is High Point. High Point is one of the highest scoring mid-major teams. They play at a decent tempo. So I do think that it's a good matchup for TKR. And if Purdue wins that game, then he's going to be able to put up a lot of DraftKings points. So I kind of like the idea of getting TKR. Now, obviously, if Will Richard falls to me, he's going to be the pick. But I don't mind the idea of getting TKR there. Seeing Darren, Arizona bigs. Now, that's an idea. Let me see where Arizona's at in the bracket. And let me see where Michigan State is at in the bracket because that might determine my strategy here. So let's see. Arizona's a 4, right? I think. Yeah, they're a 4 in Duke's bracket, which also has Alabama. So that one would be tough. They wouldn't meet until the Elite 8, though. Not like Wisconsin, who would be Sweet 16. I don't have anybody from Auburn's bracket. So Michigan State could be one to look out for. The problem is with Michigan State is that it's really hard to predict which one of their guys are going to score fantasy points on any given night. So that is something that I'll have to consider, but I certainly could build that out because I don't want to just keep drafting Florida and Alabama guys. I'm going to have to draft somebody different somewhere down the road. So here's what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking I can go ahead and nab my third Florida player, Will Richard. Dang it, never mind. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got an interesting strategy here. This guy has to fall to me, though. Joel, that's a very solid pick for Joel for the roster that he has. Getting Lanier and continuing on with his 3 teams. I like that. I'm going to try to double tap the Purdue guys right here. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to double tap Braden Smith and TKR right here. These are the only 2 Purdue guys I'm going to draft because the rest of Purdue is not good. But B, that allows me to add a third team from a bracket that I haven't used yet. So now I've gotten I've got Alabama in, I need to learn the regionals. Alabama in the East, which is Duke's. I've got Purdue in the Midwest, which is Houston's bracket. And then I've gotten Florida in their bracket in the West. So I can add that Michigan State stack on. I could also add on a Marquette stack or a Michigan stack. Okay, so those are 2 options. So Marquette and Michigan are teams that I could add if I wanted to. Now, the problem is that, you're going to want your guys to advance far in this tournament. So Marquette only projected to win 1 game. Michigan might not even win 1 game. But I'm going to be just going to go ahead and add some guys from those teams into the queue. Not saying that I'm going to take them right away, but they're going to be there in the queue, so that way I kind of have tabs on who's available to me. Let's see what's going on with the rest of the draft. So Joel, I think, continues to kill it. Curtis Jones is a guy that should go earlier than he does because now that Keshawn Gilbert is hurt, Curtis Jones is going to be taking on a bigger role. And so if Curtis Jones is taking on a bigger role, then he's going to be putting up a lot of DraftKings points. And Iowa State actually, in my opinion, got a pretty favorable draw. I wouldn't have any fear of them losing to Lipscomb. I would certainly not have any fear of the second-round matchup, whether it's Ole Miss, San Diego State, or North Carolina. So I think Iowa State, pretty good bet to make the Sweet 16, pretty good team to stack in this with Keshawn Gilbert out because of the fact that Curtis Jones is going to be playing with that additional role. I see Darren's question in the chat says, are there any other Purdue guys? Yes, they exist, but I don't want them. Because if just watching them play, they just do everything through Braden Smith and TKR. It's hard. I guess Fletcher Lawyer would be their 3rd best player from a fantasy perspective. It's just really hard to advocate for drafting them, for drafting anybody other than those 2, in my opinion. Okay, so Big Cliff went to Jace Ward or Jace Seward. Jace Ward or Jace Seward? I don't know. Big Cliff went to him. He had a few Alabama guys, so that makes sense. So I don't get the Bama big, but I can go ahead and get a Florida big in Chinelu. Chinelu, however you pronounce it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Chinelu. And then I've got a decision to make here because I've got 3 picks left. I have gotten 3 Florida, 3 Alabama. I'm sorry, 2 Alabama, 3 Florida, 2 Purdue. So I could bring on a 4 team if I wanted to. And in fact, I do want to. No Danny Wolf for Michigan. You know what? I'm just going to go Cam Jones. That's a guy that, as long as they win their first round game, is going to count for my score in rounds 1 and rounds 2 because Cam Jones is a dog. Great daily fantasy player, Cam Jones. So I do need to make sure to scoop up Joplin. So that way I've got 2 for my Marquette stack. And then I've gotten 4 teams in 4 regions, and it's going to be a 3-3-2-2. Cool. All right. Let's see. I need to get caught up in the chat here. Darren says, never trust Boilers in April. I generally agree, but all I need is I just need Braden Smith and TKR to score a lot of DraftKings points in round 1 and round 2, and I'll be good. just give me those 2, and I'll be happy. Now, obviously, I want more, but just give me those 2, and I'm good. Question, do you like Kentucky? So Kentucky, to me, they're a team that is – I don't think there's very much in between outcome of like Elite 8, Final 4, or first or second round exit because they're just so volatile and they've got injuries. They're banged up. Like they're going to look really good or really bad in this tournament. I personally, if I were filling out a bracket right now, I would have Texas beating them in the round of 32. Texas has already beaten them. Texas has got Trey Johnson. Texas is playing well right now. I think Texas can give them issues. So that is where I would have Kentucky. I do think that, if I were not a Texas fan, I might feel a little differently. But Texas played really well in the SEC tournament. They really impressed me. They had me hopeful for this tournament run that they could go on. And so that's going to be what I'm probably going to be picking. All right, so here's the deal now. I do not want to add on a 3rd team, right? So is there anybody else from Alabama or Florida that I maybe missed that I could draft? Let's see. Nobody on the Bama side. I could get Henlogton, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm definitely going to get Joplin here. That'll give me my 2nd Marquette guy. I feel pretty good about that. I really want another wing or another big, but I don't really want to add another team on. Well, Joplin will be the 3rd wing. So who could be a big that I could add on to this? I guess Hamlockton, right? I've already got a Florida big, though. I don't really need another Florida big. You know what? I'm probably going to keep Joplin in the queue and let the timer run out. Let me consult my bracket real quick. Where is Michigan in this? So Michigan is in Marquette's bracket, in the top half of it. But I think Michigan's going to lose in round 1. I really do. I think UC San Diego is going to get him. I think UC San Diego is a terrible matchup for him. Okay, so now I'm officially on the clock now that it got Joplin, right? So who's going to score more DraftKings points? I'm looking. I'm going to go with EK here. I don't like adding on a 5th team. I really don't. I think that's a suboptimal play by me. But I'm just not seeing it with some of these other options there. Just not seeing it. Maybe Lock-in would have been the play. I don't know. If first 4 games counted on this, I think you could make the argument that like drafting somebody on a first 4 team like a Trey Johnson could be one of the best picks because you would get 3 games out of him instead of 2, but they don't do that. and you would not want to draft somebody from one of the first 4 teams. So, yeah. I see Darren in the chat saying Clemson big. Yeah, Locken might not have been a bad pick, but I honestly, I probably shouldn't have added on a 15 there. But I really didn't like any of my options for any of the 4 that I had, and I definitely wanted another big, and I wanted it to be from a different team. I mean, is Ben Gold a big for Marquette? Well, it turns out there's a lot of I know Ben Gold's even a wing, so Marquette doesn't even have a big. So, so that wouldn't have worked out. Let's see how Joel turned out. So Joel, Tennessee, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Arizona, stuck to 4 teams, positionally balanced. Joel had a good draft. Joel had a really good draft. Yeah, I'll give Joel props. Joel set it up well. And I believe Iowa State, Arizona, those are all in different brackets. Texas Tech. Yeah, Joel did a good job. Joel did a heck of a job because he's got all of his guys in different brackets too. That's a good drafting job by Joel there. All right, let's go ahead and rip off another one. Yeah, I see the chat for Joel. I seem to be getting a lot of Tennessee. Yeah, I feel like they're a little bit undervalued. So like, there's this confusion that Tennessee is kind of like this like rock fight team. They're not really that. Like they kind of play at the pace of their opponent. Like you saw today with Florida, Tennessee was getting up and down. Tennessee was trying to score a lot of DraftKings points, right? So like I kind of like playing the Tennessee guys because if they get a team that's going to push the tempo, they're going to put up a lot of DraftKings points. And they have a really favorable path too. Like I don't see UCLA or Utah State knocking off Tennessee. We've literally seen Tennessee beat Kentucky and Texas and Illinois. We know how good or bad it can go for Illinois. Tennessee's got a pretty good path to the Elite Eight. And then if they make it there, like I said, it's like the Spider-Man meme with Houston, or if like me, if you think it's going to be Gonzaga, then Gonzaga is actually a really good team to target for like a fantasy points game. So yeah, I really do like Tennessee. Says Vols are confusing on who to take. Yeah, I could see that because basically after Ziegler and Lanier, that Milicic and Opara are going to start. But it's whether or not they have good games because they can both be volatile. They both get in foul trouble, which is what happened today. Darren says, I think a Haggerty big game or 2 could set up for next week. Yeah, Haggerty can go off at any given moment. Haggerty's good. He's real good, especially with Tyrese Hunter. I don't know what the health of Tyrese Hunter is going to be. Who did Memphis play in round 1? Colorado State. That's going to be a really good first round game. That's going to be one of the most entertaining first round games. And then the 4-13 in that region is Maryland Grand Canyon. So Memphis is a team that like Maryland would not be able to just straight up bully with size. I could see Memphis making a run. I could see it. Also, if you remember from the stream last week, I was talking about Memphis. I said they were likely to be like a 7, 8, or 9. And they end up being a 5. And Gonzaga, a team that I thought was going to rise to like a 6 or a 7, they end up being an 8. Like that was probably the 2 most confusing seedings to me were Memphis and Gonzaga in opposite directions. I thought Memphis was going to come in lower. I thought Gonzaga was going to come in higher. Let me see if there's any others that like stood out to me as like really surprising seedings. I guess Texas A&M is a 4. Like, I think if you're the committee, I think if you had waited until the championship games today were done, it would have been super easy, like not even an inconvenience to move Michigan and Texas A&M and make Michigan the 4 and Texas A&M the 5. Hey, I got pick 1. Let's go. All right, so this is the first time I've got pick 1. Yeah, and I see Joel in the chat as well. Says, I like Memphis, and the experts on CBS are picking Colorado State to upset. Absolutely. I hate when all they do is they get on and they'll talk about all these upsets, but yet like they never actually put their money where their mouth is and pick it. Like Seth Davis on the CBS shows, like telling us like every single upset. It's like, dude, can I see your bracket? Can I see if these upsets are actually in it? Or can I see your FanDuel account and see if you're actually betting on these upsets, money line or spread? I don't care. Because he was like picking all of them, right? Now, for this one, I got pick 1, which is a spot I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Janai Broom. I totally get the taking Cooper Flag over Broom. You got to remember, I don't have either. So this is the first of my portfolio of either of them. Flag is ankle. Like, they don't have to play him in the game against the 16 seed. They don't. So they might not. Broom, I'm going to get those games out of. And Broom is a guy that I also do think Auburn, I think that they're set up pretty darn well in this tournament. I fear nobody in Auburn's top half of the bracket. I think Auburn's got a really easy path to the Elite Eight. So I think Janai Broom is a super sensible number one pick. If you're confused, like me, maybe confused is the wrong word. If you're not sure about what to do with Cooper Flag, I think Janai Broom is the sensible number one pick. Now, because I understand how best ball works, especially because I did a lot of it for NFL and a lot of it for college football, you want a diverse portfolio. So, like, I'm not saying if I got the number one pick every time I would take Janai Broom, but with this being literally the first time that I've gotten it, I'm very happily going to take Broom here, and then I can get some Flag exposure somewhere down the road if I get pick 1 or pick 2 again, because it seems like people are going to be picking Broom number 1 overall from now on. So let's see how the rest of this draft goes, though, because like every draft I've done, I've been at 5 or 6. So I'm curious to see how other people are going to pick 5 and 6, right? So this guy, DeBray, taking Mark Sears. I like it. If I were him right here at number 6, I would be taking JT Toppin, and he did not. Okay, cool. I guess that's why I don't take everybody's picks. But yeah, now it's time to build around Janai Broom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I know where all these Auburn guys are. I don't need Cardwell. I'm going to take Cardwell out of the queue. What I'm probably going to do here is I'm probably going to take best player available and Chad Baker-Mazara. I think that's the move, because I think I can come back later and get some of these other guys. It's also hilarious to me how inconsistent the positions are on Underdog with what you see on DraftKings for daily fantasy, because DraftKings daily fantasy, Chad Baker-Mazara is a guard / forward. You would think that would be a wing, and he's a guard on here. Y'all, is this draft really going to test me with Houston? Are they going to tempt me with taking Juwan Roberts right here, who also, by the way, is not a wing. He is very much a big. Are they going to make me do it? Are they going to make me do it, y'all? Could I get more Houston players at pick 24? Well, Cryer's already gone. I could get Uzan. Y'all, I've got an interesting decision here. Do I want to go Roberts or do I want to go Ziegler? I like Ziegler. I do like Ziegler. Darren in the chat saying Johnny's stack. If I could get RJ Lewis here, I would. But RJ Lewis is gone. So we're going to let it clock out. We're going to go Baker-Mazara. So this is basically saying, hey, Mike, who do you think is going to win in the Elite Eight, Houston or Tennessee? Here's the thing, though. I might not ever have a chance to build a Broom Roberts team again. You know what, Ziegler? It's Ziegler. I'm going to be content with that. I'm going to be content with it being Ziegler. Ziegler's a guy who puts up a ton of stats, like a ton. And I do feel pretty comfortable that I'm going to be able to get Lanier at the end of the next round to kind of finish off my Tennessee duo. Yeah. All right. I feel comfortable with that start. What's interesting is this draft seems to have no care about stacking so far. This guy has 3 different teams. This guy's got 2 already, 2 already, 2 already, 2 already. So nobody's really stacking yet. It's interesting. Interesting. Okay, this guy, oh, no, never mind. He didn't take RJ Lewis. This is the guy that took RJ Lewis. Okay, this guy's making some sense. This guy, Holy Roller, he's making some sense here. He's got Walter Clayton, solid pick at number 3. RJ Lewis at 10, solid. Zuby Ejiofor at 15, solid. Like, he's got his 2 Johnnies and a Florida guy. He's positionally balanced. That's a solid start to a draft. Let's see what this guy does, because he had Sears and Toppin, which is 2 elite players to start a draft. He gets Juwan Roberts. I think that might have been an auto pick. It might have been an auto pick because he was very much at the top of the board. and his first two guys have very much been at the top of the board. So he's getting best player available. Yeah, the Roberts thing is super interesting to me. It's super interesting to me to see Juwan Roberts. Like ETR, when they first came out with their ranks for this, had him at number 3. Like on DraftKings, he's like a $7,000 player that you don't really feel all that good about. Whereas you can take all these other guys that are like 8K, 9K players right now and just hope that their team wins a few games and they're going to significantly outperform the guy that's the 7K player on the team that you think might win a whole lot of games. But yet at the end of the day, you've got to have them in the national championship game if you want to win big money. So I guess there's kind of a balance to it, right? Sorry, y'all. Getting thirsty. I had to take a swig of Gatorade there. Gatorade, sponsor me if you're watching this. All right, so here's what we got so far. Coleman and Dickinson went. Coleman there is an interesting pick. Ooh, he went TKR. That's interesting. But coming back to me, I should be able to get – now this is really tempting me with a good time, y'all. This is really tempting me with a good time. So I've already got Chad Baker Mazzara, right? I already got 2 Auburn guys. I could get Elijah Martin right here or Derek Queen right here. Oh, he took Lanier. Okay, so all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take Chaney Johnson, right? Auburn player, wing, solid, right? Feel pretty good about that. But I'm going to take Derek Queen right here. And I'm going to build out a Maryland stack in that corner. And I'm going to go full on Auburn, Tennessee, Maryland. Now, here's the problem with Tennessee. I realized I didn't put Meshack in the queue. Thank you for pointing that out, Darren. I need to get another Tennessee guy, or else Ziegler's just an orphan. Because I missed out on Lanier and Milicic through no fault of my own, I might add. Dang, that guy took Reese too. Is he just taking everybody that I want? That stinks. Okay, so now I still have guys on Maryland I can take. I can get Gillespie, I can get McGill, I can get Rice. The Crab 5, as they call it. I still got 3 of them that are out there, right? So that'll be – so I need to make sure I get some of those guys. And like I said, I don't want Ziegler to be an orphan. I don't want Ziegler to be alone on Tennessee, because then if Tennessee makes it to the national championship game, on my team, he's gonna be like Will Smith in the meme after everybody moved out, right? Like just the only one there. Yeah, Gillespie is the guy that I got to get from here on out now. Now that Reese is gone and I'm already committed to Queen, I'm already pot committed, I got to get Gillespie, right? Now, let's see if the rest of this draft is starting to make more sense. So this guy went Haggerty. Hey, Joey, listen to you. He went Haggerty. And this is the guy that I've been saying is doing pretty good so far. So I get it. This guy, that's an interesting roster. This one makes sense. Yeah. Well, maybe. I still feel like he's just taking best player available. But it ended up working a little bit for him. Zurich Phelps there and Danny Wolf there. Okay. Shefflin coming back. Oh, my, I'm up next. Oh, this guy went with a little Memphis stack. He got Haggerty and Danger, who, by the way, Danger is a big. Danger is not a wing. I don't know what Underdog is thinking, putting him as a wing. Danger ain't no wing. The only wings he knows is chicken wings. I'm sorry, that was kind of offensive. Danger's a big old boy, though. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. I need some wings at some point, right? Whose bracket is Texas Tech in? Texas Tech is in Maryland's bracket. Dang it. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take Miles Kelly, right? And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and secure the bag on Gillespie. I can't miss out on Gillespie from here. So I'm going to secure that one, right? And now I've got 4 Auburn guys, so sorry, Pettiford, I don't want you anymore. I've already got a Maryland guard. Sorry, Rodney, I don't need you anymore. So I need to get at least one of these Tennessee guys Probably Okpara because I need another. Actually, I really need a wing, y'all. I really need a wing. I can figure that part out. Maybe I can get a wing that's an orphan. Darren, yeah, you called it. Miles Kelly and Gillespie. That's the move. That was the move. I really think Miles Kelly could have a big NCAA tournament. He was like, people are so quick to forget, he was like the best player at Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech wasn't any good last year. They beat Carolina once, but he was their best player. He was the guy that everybody was giving the attention to defensively. He could be that guy. Auburn just doesn't use him that way. Okay. Back to the issue at hand, y'all. I really need a wing. I know I need to take Okpara here. As long as Okpara falls, the rest of this draft can still be set in motion. But I really need another wing. And I don't know where I'm going to get one from. Shoot, if Darion Williams falls, like I'm looking. Yeah, I think Darion Williams might be the play, y'all. Dang it. Back to the drawing board again. Okay, so you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and go Okpara, right? Like that's the pick. Now, from here, I really need a wing. Let me just go ahead and take Selton Miguel. I'm securing Miguel. I know what he's going to snipe him from me. And what I can do with this last pick is feel pretty good about, I've got 4 Auburn guys, I've got 2 Tennessee guys, and I've got 3 Maryland guys. So I could go with another Tennessee guy, or I could just nab a wing. A wing that would be an orphan, unfortunately. Let's see. I did drop one last draft. I don't really want to do Marquette again. Where's BYU at in the bracket? Let's take a look. I wish there was more days because I could totally have this bracket memorized if I had long enough with it. So I don't have anybody from BYU's bracket. That includes Wisconsin, Arizona, Oregon as well, and Duke. Wisconsin, Arizona, Oregon, and Duke. Not really any entertaining wings there. Now, Tanji might still be available. Yeah, but unfortunately, Tanji's a guard. What do y'all think? Do y'all think I should go with Saunders? Yeah, Kentucky is right there with Tennessee. And they play in the Sweet 16 too, so I kind of want to avoid that. I don't mind the Carr idea, though. Let's see. If I didn't think that UConn had a chance to lose in round 1, Caravan, if I was not worried about somebody losing in round 1, it'd be Norchad Omier because the dude is a monster right now. Just a double-double machine. But I don't think his team's going to get out of round 1. They're a 9 seed, right? They play Mississippi State. And Mississippi State has all the size in the world. Baylor, all their bigs except Omier are hurt, and Omier's not even that big. Yeah, I have no faith in them winning a game. And then if they win that game, they get Duke, who's a terrible matchup for Omier. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in Omier to score a whole lot of fancy points in general. See, why can't they just make Meshack a wing? If they just made Meshack a wing, I feel totally at ease right now and just take Meshack. Like, this would not be a stressful decision at all. I'd just take Meshack, and I'd have my 3rd Tennessee guy. I'd have my 3-team stack, and everything will be all hunky-dory, right? Let's think. Richardson, Sparty. Let's see where they have him. He's a guard, and he's been taken. That was a good idea, though. If Richardson was a wing, that would have worked. Yeah, let's just go Saunders. Why not? Secure the wing. All right. So tell you what, y'all, we're going to do one more of these. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to call it a night. Because I'll tell you what, I'm having fun talking college hoops. I love these drafts. Holy crap, did it fill already? All right, what pick? Third. Okay. I haven't had a third pick on stream, so let's see how this goes. Holy Roller was just in the draft we were just in. He was a guy I said was doing good too, so let's see how it goes. So assuming that these two guys don't do anything crazy and take Flag and Broom, I'm going to feel pretty good about getting Walter Clayton, y'all. I feel pretty accomplished with that. I really do. Then in round 2, so let's do a little bit of like looking ahead here, right? So looking at the bracket, round 2. So if I'm gonna share the bracket right now. We got a few more seconds till the draft starts. So if I'm taking Clayton in round 2 or in round 1, right? Then in round 2, if I can't get Condon, oh man, I can't get a St. John stack, but I could get a Tennessee stack. I might could get a Houston stack. I could go Alabama, but I wouldn't be able to get Sears. I could go Duke, but I wouldn't be able to get Flag. Auburn wouldn't be no bueno. Okay. See, this guy took Flag number 1. Clearly, he's not worried about no sprained ankle. All right, let's go Clayton here. The part that sucks is that they're in the same region as Texas Tech and St. John's. So, like, I really, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to share the other screen. So I really would love to be able to, like, if Toppin fell to me here, be able to take Toppin, or if RJ Lewis was available, take RJ Lewis, right? But with them being in the same region, that really does kind of limit the upside of those two pairings. So let's just hope we can get Condon. And if we can't get Condon, then we'll have to improvise. Y'all, it might be Ziegler again. Might be Ziegler again. Okay, one more for Condon. This guy has Sears. He might just take Condon. Like I said, I thought this guy knew what he was doing last draft. So I'm worried. Oh, no, he's going to time out and he's going to get Condon, isn't he? That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to time out and he's going to get Condon right underneath of me. Okay, he got Ziegler. I mean, means I get Condon. That was quite a little nerve-wracking situation there. But I'll be honest, I think I'd made my mind up that if he had taken Condon, I was going to take Ziegler. So now I do need another Florida guy at some point, and I wanted to be one of the bigs. Now, obviously, I could take a Martin or Richard, but I really think I want to get Chinelu further on in the draft. That's how I kind of want to build this Florida stack out with. So now, where's Iowa State in the bracket, y'all? Whose bracket are they in? They are the 3 in Auburn's bracket. Okay. Thinking about that information. Maryland's in Florida's bracket too. See, that's the part that kind of stinks about this Florida stack is like you're kind of boxed in with guys that are in their bracket. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to right now. I'm going to push it on the other Florida guys, and I'm going to take Josh Jefferson because I really like the idea of getting Curtis Jones at a discount with Gilbert being hurt. Yeah, because literally the update on Gilbert is out for season 4 hours ago. Yeah. So we're going Florida and Iowa State so far, y'all. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we got. This guy is just on auto draft at this point. The guy right behind me, although he's not. Again, he's taking good players, but I think if you're auto drafting these, I think you're going to lose to yourself because of the fact that you're not going to get the stacks you want if you're auto drafting. Unless you were to like draft 2 rounds with 2 different teams and just put everybody in the queue. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a winning strategy either. I've been very staunch of I don't think you want 5 and 5 in this format. I think you want 4-3-3 or 3-3-2-2 or 4-3-2, something like that, right? And right now I'm sitting pretty good. I have no idea if me pushing these Florida guards is going to work in my favor or not, but I hope it does. If it does not, I'm left in quite a bind because I don't want the St. John's guys because they're in the same bracket as Florida. I'm going to need a dominant big at some point too. A guard that can put up some, or a big that can put up some fancy points. You know what? If this guy takes Richard, I'm going to take Zuby and just say screw it and have a little bit of St. John's with my Florida. I'm afraid he's going to take Will Richard. No, he took Haggerty. Okay, so I can get Will Richard. I'm going to take Jones next. But y'all, I got to start finding some bigs. That might be my downfall in this draft is the big position. That's the one thing I'm kind of concerned about. Let's see. We'll see how these guys pick though. Yeah, I got options for bigs, I guess. Amari Williams is in a region that I haven't touched yet. Yeah. I think that's the move. Amari Williams. Man, Zuby and Kadari are just falling down this board. This guy right here has RJ Lewis already, dude. You should be taking Zuby or Kadari, like easily. You should be taking Kadari for this team, no doubt about it. And he didn't. Curtis Jones, but man, Zuby and Kadari right there. That's a heck of a value. Those two guys with how far they're falling in this draft. I kind of feel bad that I don't have a St. John's. Like I don't want to limit myself with the upside of taking the St. John's guys when I already have Florida. So we'll see. I really strongly disagree with how far those guys are falling in this draft, though. Strongly disagree with it. In fact, if Zuby falls back to me, I might as well just take him. Because let's be honest, what are the odds that Amari Williams makes it to, that Amari Williams outscores Zuby for that matter, right? Well, there went Zuby. Okay, now that decision's taken out of my hands. Good. I don't have the chance to do something reckless. Sometimes that's a good thing. Somebody prevents you from being your own worst enemy, right? Oh, so let's see here. Why does Underdog have Henry Coleman projected for 178 points? Do they not know he's a very mediocre big man on a team that might not win one game? All right. TKR is gone, so I don't want Braden Smith. I don't think this is the time to add on to my stacks. So to add on another. Well, no, let's go ahead and take Amari here. Yeah, we're going to have to take a big at some point. So let's take Amari. And then I can make sure that I get Owe later on. Yeah. Oh, wow. Came back to me quick. Very quick. All right, let's take Chinelu. Now I've got my two bigs. Y'all, I might just build the rest of this draft from Florida, Iowa State, and Kentucky. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, does Kentucky have oh no, Kentucky's big is Amari Williams, duh. So I have 3 picks left. I know I need to get someone else from Kentucky, right? Because I don't want Amari the orphan. But looking at it, I really like how this worked out. I got 4 Florida. I got 2 Iowa State, 1 Kentucky. Now, here's the thing. I kind of would rather have Lipsy than Jackson, but the positional need necessitates that I should be taking Jackson, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take Jackson. The next guy I want, though, is Owe. Owe's been great since Lamont Butler's been hurt. Kentucky, kind of already banking on him with Amari Williams. Going Owe. And then I really want to end it with Carr. That's how I want to end this draft, is Owe Carr. But it's so interesting. These drafts, depending on who you get in your room, the way people stack, the way people see how this format should work, it's just going to be, you're going to get super different lobbies every single time. Like, look at the players that are still available at this point in this lobby. Like, these are good players. Miles Kelly's on a good team too. He's on Auburn, and like, nobody wants him. It's crazy. And yet we got Tamar Bates going off the board. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So yeah, I'm going to finish up this 4-3-3. Hopefully get Andrew Carr at the end. That's the guy I want. And then we're going to be done. I will say I have not made my full bracket yet. So we are going to be running a bracket pool again this year. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want in, comment or message me on Discord or Twitter. Those would be 2 ways you could get in. I'm not like publicizing it super a whole lot because it's not like an officially like legislated thing. So like, just message me about it if you want in. But we are going to be doing a bracket pool. But I haven't made my bracket yet. And I really think when I do make it, I don't know who I'm going to pick as the national champion. I'm very much right now leaning towards the Florida Gators. I just feel like they have the least weaknesses of anybody. And I kind of think that's what you want in a national champion right now. So yeah, that's probably going to be my pick. And then I think my big stand is I think I'm going to have Gonzaga in the Sweet 16 over Houston. I think that's going to be another thing I'm going to do. But anyway, we just ripped 3 best ball drafts, and that was a blast. I really do love this best ball format. It's a really fun contest. If you have not already, go check out our strategy video for it. Further down in the channel feed, go check out the other live stream we did for it the other night. We had pick 5 both times. So if you want to see how we handled pick 5, go for it. But yeah, very much enjoy this format. Very much enjoy these drafts. Thank you guys for joining in with us on Selection Sunday. We've got a great big week of content coming for you. We are going to be doing the bracket breakdown show tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we will have the DFS preview for the Thursday slate. Thursday will probably be when we record the DFS preview for the Friday slate, because Wednesday I'll be in Dayton, Ohio, watching my Texas Longhorns take on Xavier. So very much looking forward to this week. Cannot wait. Love the NCAA tournament, especially the first week of the NCAA tournament. Like I said, get the code on Underdog if you're new on Underdog and you want to try this format out. But I've had a blast doing it. Thank you guys for joining me here on this stream. If you're watching it on replay, hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Hopefully you consider subscribing to the channel. And before you go, please hit the like button for me. It really does help me out a ton when you guys do that. But we're going to go ahead and end things here. Best of luck to you guys this week, and I will see you guys later.